Good morning. Good morning. I'm David Calvo from Hudson High School.
I'm Kate Flynn from Madison High School. I'm Alexia Ferguson from Adrian High School.
I'm Kennedy Price from Hudson High School.
I'm Harley Scholl from Hudson High School.
And I'm Ryan Merlat from Onset High School. Now, I want to tell you guys a little bit about myself. When I was younger, I would come home from school, my mom would be cooking dinner. She'd be a little clumsy. And what I mean by this is she couldn't really walk. She couldn't really communicate very well. She would drop her drinks on the floor occasionally, just stuff like that. And I thought it was funny because I was young. I didn't really think anything about it until I reached middle school and I started taking health classes and learned about drug abuse. And that's when I really understood what was going on at home. And when I was 13, and this is one of my most vivid memories, when I was 13, I watched my mom overdose on prescription painkillers.
Please stand if you or someone you know has been impacted by opioid abuse. Look around. Go ahead and be seated. Now, if any of you received a wristband from me or one of my teammates, please stand up. Each and every one of you is standing because each and every one of you has been impacted by opioid abuse in some way or another. People that are addicted are meant to bring something to our community. However, their addiction impedes them to do just that. Community resources are being used up by law enforcement and hospitals, and businesses are suffering because of loss of capable employees. And what's worse is the loss of a friend or family member. Please be seated.
The question we were given was, how has opioid abuse impacted Lenawee County and what can we do to solve this problem? Now this problem has many solutions, so we decided to narrow it down to how can we get prescription drugs back to where they belong. Now we all feel it is very important to stop the drug abuse before it goes too far, so we decided to focus our awareness on the early signs of drug addiction. Now our first step as a team was to research a topic of opioid abuse. The asset that we utilized was the Lenawee County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition. From there, we were able to conduct a multitude of interviews from around the community. In your business plan on page 15 and in the back of it is our release forms and the people that we interviewed. In all, we interviewed 12 people, and here's what some of them people said.
I do think addiction is a disease. There's a lack of education, and there's a lack of knowledge, I think, for patients too.
It's not just an individual addiction, it's the whole family that has to deal with it and that suffers through it.
I think there is a lot more prevention services, a lot more education in schools when children are, before children become parents.
You need to force the water which can make a drain.
We need education to be done for physicians.
It started with injuries and being prescribed by doctors better, not being prescribed the pills for as long as I was.
Do you remember how long you were prescribed pills?
20 years.
You were prescribed those pills for 20 years?
Yeah, I was.
The drugs are getting stronger, they're getting more accessible. It's terrifying.
While doing our research, we discovered a county outside of Michigan that had recently experienced the horrifying effects of the epidemic that we were facing head on. In mid-March, this county's morgue was so full that they had to call on their state's emergency management agency for help. A cold storage trailer was brought in to be used as an overflow morgue. In Lenawee County, we need to work together as a community to slow the ravaging effects of this epidemic. If we do, we'll never have to face a horrible tragedy like the one that's been described. Prescription drug abuse is a large issue in Lenawee County, but we need to work to prevent this issue from getting too out of hand. According to the 2015 and 2016 Lenawee County Medical Examiner's annual reports, 45 drug-related deaths were reported in that 2-year period. That number will only continue to rise if nothing is done to slow this down.
We created an online survey where respondents could post their personal opinions anonymously about the issue. So the questions are located on page 7, section 2 of the business plan. The survey actually allowed us to view these responses in a whole new way. It showed us a whole new level of the issue.
There were many areas of focus that we could have chosen to spread our awareness to, but we decided to stick to the education of doctors and members within the community. So currently there are 12,423 opioid prescriptions being written to every 10,000 people within Lenawee County. This needs to change. The solution to this was to create a toolkit.
The toolkit, which was inspired by several calls to physicians, was handed out to the judge prior to our presentation and can be referred to while we explain its contents. It includes a pamphlet, free checklist, and a resource sheet.
The pamphlet includes the 8 locations of the Red Barrels throughout Lenawee County, which are safe places where you can dispose of your extra prescription drugs. The pamphlet also includes general information for receptionists, as well as a list of community resources.
The first checklist is for the waiting room and can be placed on the clipboards you receive at the front desk on top of the required paperwork. It is used to spread awareness to our community and help those who are suffering or have a loved one suffering. The second checklist is for a receptionist and can be used as a quick reference guide when a patient calls in for an appointment. If he or she feels the need to flag the patient for further examination by the doctor, they can. The third checklist is for the doctor and can be used to further assess the patient's condition and then be referred to outside sources.
The outside sources include a resource list that is a list of contacts for the doctors to refer their patients to. Examples of those are HALO and Community Mental Health, as well as many others.
Now, the basis for our education and awareness campaign is RAPID. It is a short acronym describing the early signs of addiction. Now, R is for restlessness, A is for activity abandonment, P is for personality change, I is for isolation, and D is for defensiveness. It is effective and easy to use to show those early signs.
We created several designs that contain this RAPID acronym for the early signs of opioid abuse. We designed a awareness card, a pen, and a bumper sticker. While it may seem repetitive, it is key that the general public is familiar with our message. We also created a design for a billboard. This is our proposed design. Billboards are often attention grabbing, and because they are stationary, they are a great form of advertising if you want the viewers to remember your message.
Another piece of advertisement that we created is a poster. Now, this contains MyFi data, our acronym, and the Community Mental Health Hotline if you believe that you or someone you know has an addiction problem.
Along with the billboard, bumper sticker, poster, and pens, we decided to make a public service announcement, and we thought it would be important to share with you.
Pay attention. I need the drugs. Why can't you sit still and just eat your dinner? I need the drugs.
You know you're going to get fired if you keep coming in late.
I need the drugs.
Why haven't you been turning in your work and participating like usual?
I need the drugs.
We made plans. Why didn't you show?
I need the drugs.
Can we plan your verse, Sissy?
No, she'll find my drugs.
Someone who is in the early stages of addiction will show signs of RAPID. R, restlessness. A, activities abandonment. P, personality change. I, isolation. And D, defensiveness.
Addicts aren't thinking clearly and need outside help. They can't do it alone. To curb the epidemic, get the help. Call this hotline if you think someone you know has a drug problem. 517-263-8905. 517-263-8905. The faster you get help, the more rapidly the epidemic will decrease. Brought to you by the 2017 iChallengeU team. Our overall goals for the awareness campaign are 1, to decrease the amount of opioid prescriptions written in Lenawee County. That number currently stands at 12,423, as stated earlier in the presentation. We want to decrease that to 10,000 prescriptions written every 10,000 people, which makes sense. Our goal number 2 is to decrease the amount of drug-related deaths in Lenawee County. As of 2016, that number was 20, and we want to decrease that by 50%. Our third goal is to overall decrease the amount of overdose calls throughout Lenawee County. And earlier, I talked about how my mom had overdosed, and you may all think that she passed away, but that's actually not the case. She's in Indiana Women's Prison. I haven't seen her in 2 years, and I live with a great family who happily took me in as one of their own. However, this is not the case for most situations, and they're probably much worse.
Be part of the solution.
Very well done. My only question, out of all those symptoms, how did you choose that particular list? Because I know there's many more that you probably could have chosen from. Where did you find them? Where did you get those from? What's your source? And what made you choose those particular ones?
Well, those signs were some of the things we thought of. We wanted to catch the signs of people that hadn't fully gotten into addiction and the true grasp that it takes on people. We wanted to make sure that you could sense when, you could be aware and just know those signs, so that when someone has that, you can sense it. You know, when you know what the signs are, you'll be able to maybe have a little suspicion and get them help before they're fully caught in by that addiction.
And we didn't just think of those, we also looked, we researched them and got those types of words off of research websites.
One of the questions I noted was, how are you going to train the doctors and medical staff? Because so much of the time it is the fact that it's hard to get in front of them. You know, in addition, you know, it's their job to keep managing the volume. But you really answered that question, you know, throughout your presentation with the checklist, and I think that that's probably the easiest and simplest way to make a difference, because, you know, you have the one for the receptionist, one, you know, and the doctor, and things of that nature. So what was the most surprising discovery that you may have experienced throughout your project?
I think one of the things that was most surprising is how much more resources we needed by the way.
I thought that the most surprising one was the 12,423 prescriptions written every 10,000. That's more than one prescription written a person in Lenawee County, and I just thought that that was ridiculous.
I know with the doctors, they were very excited when we called that many times, the receptionist, and then they would answer our question, and they would refer us to the rest of their office. And they were very excited. We want something a little like tidbit to know when patient calls in. We want this outside sources to refer patients, because it's there, but it's not being pushed right now.
We found out that addiction, this opiate addiction, affects every person, because, well, you may not think that you know anyone or that it's affecting you. They're all around you, and they're surrounding you even if you don't know them, anywhere you go there in this community. And it's affecting the economy. You know, we can't keep stable jobs and everything because we can't pass drug tests. And that's a real issue that it's kind of there, but you can't sense it. And you
Nicely done. Have you shared any of your solutions with Lenawee County, and what was their feedback?
Actually, yesterday we pitched our ideas to the Lenawee Education Foundation, and they were like astonished. Like, it was pretty cool to see that they actually agreed with us and they wanted to take our steps and use them. And we also talked with the Lenawee County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition, and they're actually they're creating a subcommittee for a task force within the committee. And they asked us to be part of that, and they asked us to create groups within the school for drug abuse, and I thought that was pretty awesome. So that we did reach out to them.
Very great. Did you ever do any research or take into consideration the cost of implementing some of these programs across the county?
Yes, they are all, well, the programs are a little different. The doctor's toolkit is that's just printing. We just have to take it to the doctors. They're more than willing to accept it. And then we also have the cost analysis in the business plan. It's in section 3.
Seemed to be a tremendous amount of resources you were able to garner to put that together. And I think that you're definitely on the right track from the standpoint of approaching a community foundation and so forth, because it's just amazing to think that there isn't more known about it and so forth. Kind of what are the next steps are you guys thinking, I guess, moving forward?
Well, my next steps are to help create those groups in the school. I really want to focus on that too, and to hand out these. We're going to take these to local doctors that we talk to over the phone, and we talk to them, and they would be more than willing to take them. So I think those are our next steps.
And I know there might be a couple other people besides me they're planning on going to the coalition meetings and putting that student input in to help them, because we did go to a couple of their meetings and they really loved our.
So you reached out to doctors over the phone just within your county, correct?
Yeah, we called several like doctor's office throughout Lenawee County, Hudson, Amstead, everywhere we called.
Okay. And do you know, I don't know if there is or not, is there any type of legal barriers that could be involved in putting pamphlets into a doctor's office at all?
There's no legal issues with putting the pamphlets in there. The doctors were more than willing to take the pamphlets and use them as personal resources. The only legal thing that we had issue with was the Senate Bill 47, and that was a big issue with our thing, so we steered clear of the legal issues.
And all these resources are for doctors. We just put it together to get it out there because they are out there for them. They're just not being taken advantage as much as they should have. So like if we put it all together, that's when we get hand to them and then can implement that in their office. Thank you.